Yunganglong. Yunganglong is an extinct genus of basal hadrosauroid dinosaur known from the early late Cretaceous Lower Sumapu Formation of Zhujiang County, Shanxi Province of northeastern China. It contains a single species, Yunganglong DINOSAurus. Discovery and naming. Yunganglong was first described and named by Runfu Wang, Hailuyu, Shijiaoshu, Suoju Wang, Jian Yi, Lijuanxie, Leijia and Yashenli in 2013, and the type species is Y. dinosaurus. The generic name honors Yungang Grottos, a UNESCO World Heritage Site built in the 5th and 6th centuries about 50 kilometers east of the fossil locality, and derived from long meaning dragon in Chinese. The specific name refers to the city of Datong, located in northern Shanxi Province, where the holotype was found. Yunganglong is known solely from the holotype SXMGV00001, field number ZY007, an associated but disarticulated partial skeleton housed at the Shanxi Museum of Geology. The holotype came from a single individual, and includes the caudodorsal part of the skull, ZY00737 and ZY00738, separated along the floor of the brain case, two cervical vertebrae ZY00740 and ZY00741, partial dorsal neural arch and neural processes ZY00736, two caudal vertebrae, including the proximal ZY00727 and the middle ZY00719, distal portions of both ischia, left ZY00711 and right ZY00712, distal end of left femur ZY00732, proximal portion of right tibia ZY007one, and distal portion of left tibia with astragalus ZY007-2. The remains were collected in 2011 from locality 7 of the Sumapu Formation, as a part of a project to find dinosaurs for the Shanxi Museum of Geology, initiated by the Department of Land and Resources of Shanxi Province. SXMGV00001 was found in the vicinity of Zhujiang County, from the lower part of Sumapu Formation, dating to the early-late Cretaceous based on biostratigraphic correlations, overlying the late-early Cretaceous Zhujiang Formation. Other than SXMGV00001, Ankylosaur and Ceratopsian remains were found from the newly discovered localities. The first dinosaur record in Shanxi Province was reported by Young, 1958, from two localities in Zhujiang County. He assigned hadrosauroid material recovered from the Shnyugu locality of the Zhujiang area to Bactrosaurus johnsoni, including two isolated teeth, some vertebrae including a series of 25 caudal vertebrae, one rib, one right humerus and several manual and pedal bones. Although no overlapping material exists, based on the more basal phylogenetic position and lower stratigraphic horizon of Yunganglong compared to Bactrosaurus, Young's material more probably pertains to Yunganglong. Description: Wang et al. 2013, diagnosed Yunganglong DINOSAurus using a unique combination of 4 characters. The caudal surface of the supraoccipital in Yunganglong and more advanced hadrosauroids is inclined steeply forward at approximately 45 degrees, while nearly vertical in Gintosaurus and less derived hadrosauriforms. The horizontal portion of the paroccipital process is caudalaterally extended and accompanied by the squamosal, but laterally extended in Gintosaurus and less derived hadrosauriforms. As observed in Yunganglong and Ginosaurus, but not in Bactrosaurus and more advanced taxa, the pendant portion of the paroccipital process does not curve cranially. Finally, Yunganglong and less derived hadrosauriforms possess a deep, U-shaped, intercondylar extensor groove on the femur, partially enclosed by expansion of medial and lateral condyles, while in more advanced taxa, for example Nanyungasaurus, it is fully enclosed. Yunganglong cannot be directly compared with 3 other non-hadrosaurid hadrosauroids. These include Zhuangmiosaurus from the early late Cretaceous of Liaoning Province of northeastern China, and 2 other early late Cretaceous taxa from North America, the Cenomanian Protohadros and the Turonian Jaywati. Like other hadrosauroids, Yunganglong was a ground-dwelling herbivore that could walk bipedally, and could stand on all 4 legs. The skull of Yunganglong is relatively wide and low. Phylogeny. Based on its morphology, Wang et al. 2013, showed that Yunganglong was more derived than the basal hadrosauriform Iguanodon but more primitive than the hadrosaurids, such as the well-known Edmontosaurus and Corythosaurus. To further explore the phylogenetic position of Y. dinosaurus among hadrosauriforms, Wang et al. 2013, used a modified version of the data matrix first presented by Susan Avryanov, 2009. Nanyungasaurus, Zhuangmiosaurus, and Yunganglong were added to the matrix, and 2 character codings were modified. In the strict consensus tree, Yunganglong was recovered as more advanced than Probactrosaurus, in an unresolved polytomy with Ginosaurus, Protoheteros, Nanyongosaurus, Swangmyosaurus, Lovnosopia, Bactrosaurus, Danius, Telmatosaurus and the clade formed by Aralosaurus and Hadrosauridae. The 50% majority rule tree resolved its phylogenetic position further, as shown in the cladogram below.